Have you ever felt like something was watching you, even when you were completely alone? What if the things you've ignored in the darkness weren't just your imagination? Ethan thought he was alone in his house, but when strange noises began coming from the basement, he couldn't shake the feeling. Something was waiting for him, something far worse than anything he could have imagined. And once he opened that door, he made a choice that would change everything forever. Stay tuned to find out what happens when you disturb the darkness, and why some secrets are better left undiscovered. It was a quiet night in the small, isolated town. Ethan stood by the window, staring out into the darkness. His parents had left for the weekend, and he was alone. At first, the solitude seemed peaceful, but soon, an unsettling feeling began to grow. The house felt wrong, as if something was off. He couldn't explain it, but it was there. Over the past few days, strange things had been happening. Flickering lights, doors that wouldn't stay closed, and odd noises coming from the basement. Ethan brushed it off at first. Old houses creaked. But tonight, the noises were different. Louder. Creaks, thuds, something or someone was down there. He hesitated, staring at the basement door. Something inside him screamed to stay away, but curiosity got the better of him. He grabbed a flashlight and slowly descended the stairs. The basement smelled musty, the air damp. His flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The sound of his own breath echoed in the silence. Then he heard it, a low, guttural growl, so deep it rattled his bones. Ethan froze, the flashlight trembling in his hand. He could hear it again, closer this time. His skin crawled. His breath quickened. Whatever it wasn't human. Panic surged through him, but he forced himself to move toward the light switch. The growl grew louder, now mixed with scraping sounds, like nails on wood. Ethan's hand shook as he reached for the light, but before he could flick it on, the flashlight died. He was plunged into darkness. Cold sweat ran down his back. He could feel it now, the presence, watching him from the shadows. His breath hitched, and his heartbeat thudded in his ears. Suddenly, two red eyes glowed in the dark. Ethan's blood ran cold. The figure that emerged from the darkness was unlike anything he had ever seen. Tall, twisted, its limbs contorted unnaturally. Its grin stretched impossibly wide, revealing jagged teeth. The air turned icy as the creature took a step toward him, its eyes never leaving his. He couldn't move. His feet felt like they were cemented to the floor. The creature's breath was cold and foul as it closed the distance between them. The whispers began, faint at first, then louder, like a chorus of voices in his head. "You shouldn't have come down here," the voices hissed. "You disturbed us." Ethan tried to back away, but the creature's skeletal hand shot out and grabbed his wrist. His body screamed to escape, but it was like the creature's grip had frozen him in place. The whispers intensified, urging him to stay, to join them. A chill seeped into his bones, making it hard to breathe. "No one leaves," the creature growled. His vision blurred, his mind fogged with fear. The figure's grip tightened, and he felt himself being pulled into the shadows. No matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't break free. The whispers surrounded him, louder now, consuming his thoughts. And then, the darkness swallowed him whole. The next morning, Ethan's parents returned to find the house eerily quiet. The basement door stood wide open. There was no sign of Ethan. The only trace of him was a cold chill in the air and the faint sound of whispers, too soft to make out, but unmistakably there. They searched the house, the town, but there was no sign of their son. Some say he was taken by the darkness in the basement. A darkness that had been waiting for someone to disturb it. Others say that Ethan was warned not to open that door. And yet, sometimes, when the night is still, the whispers can still be heard. They grow louder, desperate, as if searching for the next soul to join them in the dark. The shadows stretch just a little too far, and you might feel it, a chill on your neck, a whisper in your ear. Some things are better left undisturbed.